All right.
Okay. Oh, wow. We are recording right now. This is Jim the Keys Bartender. Let me turn that down so you can hear me. This is Jim the Keys Bartender coming to you from Key Largo. And I'm here with Lee Sharp. Hey, Lee.
How you doing, Jim?
Yeah, good, good.
You back.
Did I turn this off? I didn't. There's music playing in the background. Turn it down to 0. What I do is I let it play all the way through so it resets. So Lee's telling me you got a gig on Thursday.
It's a potential gig on Thursday if these guys open up, which they are open, but don't know if they're willing to have paid musicians
Yeah.
to play. So
Well,
that's something for upper management to figure out. And
there's nothing like
know
live
more about
entertainment, you know?
I agree.
Yep. And Saturday was Abby's birthday. You know that, right? And
I do know that.
We went down to Marathon. Did we talk about that at all? I don't even think we talked about it. So I'll talk about that a little later. But Saturday you played at the Shrimp Shack in Almirada, right? Hello? There, Lee? Lee, did I lose you? Hello? I'm going to call you right back, buddy. We got disconnected. So Saturday, folks, was Abby's birthday, and I'm going to give Lee Sharp a call right now to see what happened. He's probably calling my number right now. Oh, the connection was lost. Some problem. What's going on? Hello, I hear a ringing. No internet. Here we go. Oh, we just lost our internet connection. What? Yeah? Okay, well, I'm going to keep on recording right now. We're going to get Lee Sharp back. But Saturday, he played at the Shrimp Shack, and Saturday was Abby's birthday. You know, this is the perils of dealing with the internet. AT&T has a spotty service in our area for some reason. And if they were that concerned with it, they could probably go and fix it. But my family and I decided to make a trip to Key Largo. We're going to give him a call and see what happens right here. Try it. And he's going to be surprised. He's going to send us. So, yeah, we went down. Still no internet connection. Boy, that sucks. So, we are... Saturday, we were driving down the Keys, down to Marathon. It was, 1/3, maybe a quarter of the traffic. We're driving down. There's no one a mile behind us. There's no one a mile ahead of us. It was a beautiful day. Just a couple clouds in the sky, just to keep it from being too sunny. It was in the low 80s. It was dry, a little bit of breeze, and we went down to the most beautiful beaches in the Keys. Oh, here we go. I think we might be back. I'm going to give him a ring now. And when we got down there, I thought that the beach would be inundated with people, wall to wall. Oh, it was beautiful.
Hello.
Hey, Lee. Hi. Hello again. So, yeah, we got disconnected. I kept on talking, so that wasn't a problem. So, I said Saturday... You played at the Shrimp Shack, right?
I did.
Yep. How'd that go?
Shrimp Shack.
Yeah.
It was great. That I had a performance, and the people that were there were really nice. Had a nice party tent that was set up already. It was left over from Cinco de Mayo, I believe, and so it was cool. It was right by US 1 though. So you could hear a lot of the cars.
People beeping at you when they come by? I didn't beep.
There were a lot of beeps. There were a lot of beeps, but I think I knew them.
We drove by you. But because we were at the beach and we were tuckered out. I'm sorry to say, because we were done. We went down
Oh,
to Sombrero Beach, and I
I
was telling
understand.
the folks when we were disconnected, I was telling them how beautiful the traffic was. There was like virtually no traffic on the way down. That we got down to the beach. There was plenty of parking. There was we had like the closest person had to sit like 30 feet away from us. If they, I mean, they didn't have to. They could have been. We could have had someone every 50 feet if we wanted. The water was perfect. It was a little cool for the locals down here, but for someone from Philadelphia and used to the 72-degree water of the North Atlantic, it was no problem. But
Right.
yeah, and then we were driving. You know, it was beautiful. We stopped at this place. What was it called? Some ice cream. Sweet Suzanne's, the ice cream parlor in Marathon, for some ice cream. And then we headed home, and then we were driving back, and it was just a beautiful ride. Um, except the one thing, there was a little. Did you notice a little haze coming out from the north?
No, I was under a tent, so I didn't really see much.
No, what happened? There was fires in the Everglades, so um,
Oh,
some fires. So there was a little haze coming in when the wind shifted down. We had a lot of dry air coming down from the north. We're at the right at the turning point from dry season to rainy season to happen. It's like you can see how in India where you have monsoon season, where
sure.
it's gotten dry, like the trade winds change and they come up from the south and it blows all the moisture up. We had a shitload of rain on Sunday, so we I did a bunch of cooking on Sunday for Abby for Mother's Day, and well, Saturday night too for Abby's birthday. So but the
Also,
shrimp shack went well, and you had a. I looked at it looked like it was a good time. You had the tent there and all that stuff. You have anything interesting happening?
no, there was a homeless guy that was across the street. He was just, he may not have been homeless. He might have had a perfectly fine home. But he was across the highway, and he was yelling out um, suggestions. He was clapping as well. He was like, "Yeah, man, play some whatever." I was like, "Well, you got to come over here."
Oh,
Um,
really?
or yeah, yeah. Or I couldn't hear him because there was a truck going by, or Jim was beeping
Well, he's
on the
pulling
car
out.
horn.
Was he exposing himself or exposing himself?
No, I don't know if he was. I don't know what exposing is, but I can use a context clue or two.
Exposing.
But
It's
yeah,
it's
if it's not a word, you should make it one.
yeah. I thank you. I thank
But yeah, yeah. But it was really nice, and people were very generous. Once again, it was uh, I hadn't played an outside gig in 53 days, so
you. Wow.
for that was salaried. So so it was just a close group of new friends and old friends that
March 19th, right?
was March
March
17th
17th. Yeah,
on
because
Saturday.
19th was a Thursday or the 20th was and they started shutting things down on so Wednesday, right? Was
Yeah.
it a Wednesday or
So
a
it was
Tuesday?
actually March 17th was actually St. Patrick's Day. So
A Tuesday.
yeah, yeah. So it was a real St. Patrick's Day, but they had already done all the partying before. So so it was just St. Patrick's Day. You can't go out now.
There
So
was that was a weird time, and now we're on the other side. You're looking for some gigs and stuff like that, and if we get our luck, we're going to get that. Well, I did get a call from the Lovers Boutique. We're hopefully we're going to try to plan in the next. Today is the 12th, so probably
yeah,
before Memorial Day. I would like to do a on-site show there, and we'll discuss we're to be talking to the owner later on today and see how that works out, if we can. So
that would be
there's always a touchy
that would be
thing.
wonderful.
People don't know. But since we have different people now, just you and I, we can be more discreet about the things that are said. You know.
Sure.
I did yesterday. I did a show, and I mentioned this to Papa Joe. Um, One of the segments was, it was by myself. I did a show by myself. You
All
believe
right.
it? I just did 40
Wow.
minutes. Yep, straight yammering away like a nutcase, and
That's all right.
I was talking about how evangelicals were contributing in the fight against COVID-19. Right? We mentioned this guy Jim Baker selling this thing called the Silver Solution. It's supposed to help against SARS, H1N1, uh, 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 HIV, and obviously the coronavirus. And it's just some water with distilled water with micro doses of silver, pure silver in it. I don't know what that's supposed to do. But then there's another guy who he just said using the breath of God, blew the COVID-19 away, which really didn't work because he did that in early April, and it's still going strong. And then Pat Robertson, Pat Robertson had a great theory. Pat Robertson came up with his theory. You know Pat Robertson?
I actually met him before.
Oh, you did? Well, Pat Robertson mentioned that he believed that it was people doing oral sex with women and getting the lady chemicals out, and that caused COVID-19. He said none of this ever happened when he was coming up. He said no one had oral sex when he was coming up, which I patently called false. And then I did a whole 5-6 minutes of different phrases that were used for oral sex from men and women and things like that. And then, because he espoused, his idea was that it's because people were doing oral sex finally, not that they've been doing it for thousands of years. And which they've been doing for thousands of years, and
before the advent of toilet paper.
Yeah, before that, before any of that stuff, before they wrote the Bible, they were doing it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where he came up with that, but that worked. That was a nice segment for like 15-20 minutes talking about.
Yeah, I think I saw something like that on Facebook. You're gonna have to go and you've already done it, so it's up to me. I'll go check it out on my leisure.
Well, yeah, and I think I've only scratched the surface. That's not even close to a pun, but I only scratched the surface in the number of phrases that are out there for it. And there's a whole bunch of other things that aren't. So I'm sure the next pandemic that occurs, or the next horrible, is it the West Falls Baptist Church? Where's the one up in, there's one here in Florida on the Panhandle, and it's not a real church. It's kind of like an online one, and all they do is protest at soldiers' funerals and say because God is punishing America for homosexuality.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
I'm gonna take off my headset for a second because I got a cough. Okay, 1 second.
Sure.
There we go. I had to clear my throat.
I was doing a vamp for you.
Oh, thank you.
There.
Yeah,
welcome.
This time of year, every time of year. Oh my gosh, someone brought me Abby brought me a club soda. It's sweet. Abby has a bad wheel right now. She hurt her ankle. She's hopping around, so I'm trying to take care of her. So we're pretty sure that it's not sex or the type of sex she has that causes hurricanes, tornadoes, pandemics, wars, and things like that. I think it's well,
pretty sure.
I mean,
but
I think they found out because they directly link. They got, if you keep on saying something is caused by improper sex, they're going to get some of it right. And you know what? They get it right when they talk about STDs. It's funny they don't say, what causes chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis. That's from, now, not necessarily deviant sex, just regular straight sex, right?
That is correctly that is true.
And
Um,
I'm not gonna put you in an awkward position that you've ever had to be treated
never,
for that.
never had to been treated.
I'm not gonna
That's
ask.
correct.
Oh, never had it treated. Good, thank you.
All right.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
proper way
So
to answer that question if there wasn't any. So,
yeah.
okay. So, what kind of questions would you, and granted, we don't want to lose the gig before we do it. You do, I did ask you that you'd feel comfortable doing an on site uh, show from the Lover's Boutique, knowing full well there's a whole bunch of things in there. Have you, all different types? I think they used to call them marital aids, or there'll be, they used to call them marital aids. You originally, remember, I don't know if you ever seen the old, they sold them in the back of magazines, just like Harper's Bazaar, Home and Gardens magazine, and used to sell these little electric handheld things with these stoppers on it. And they said they were using it for massage for your back. It's a
Sure.
hand thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but they weren't using them for that. They were using them for something else originally, and so as long as they sold them for them saying it's a back, then and they put them in a woman's magazine, because
I understand.
yeah, I mean the people
Yeah.
with really bad backs are it could be women. There's a lot of there were and we're talking the 1920s, 1930s.
Sure.
Yeah,
Um,
before there were
Also,
battery operated
shower,
things. What?
well, I mean, like, you could also say that a shower head would be a marital aid, but it could also be used for. I mean, it's
Well,
used
back
for
then
taking a shower.
the shower
Um,
they didn't think maybe they did. They had attachments that went onto the on the
they
tub.
did.
They had hoses and all that stuff, and yeah, shower
Yeah.
heads. But it was only recently when they started doing the pulsing shower heads and all that stuff.
That's probably true.
Mm.
Or you just go up and down or whatever you need to do to. But I mean, you could put that in the back of the women's magazine as well. It's a shower head, but hey, all of a sudden now.
I mean, I imagine that at certain times people would accidentally come across something that made them feel good. Like people
Sure.
said, we're going to start filling up. What better way than to fill a tub up from the bottom up, right? And they decided
on.
to put water jets in the bottom of the tub, right?
All right.
And it blew up their rectum, their anus, and they thought, well, that's very pleasurable. And then there's other areas, where they have the hose coming in and stuff, and then people just think, wow, this feels good, and then someone said, well, if I can only incorporate this design in something else, and a different way, or someone, it's just like, well, phallic art was around for thousands of years, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you can see it in the Sanskrit, and I mentioned I had a hard time remembering the Kumasatra. What's it? Kumasatra? Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra. Yeah.
What? Kamahuchi?
That's how I believe you pronounce it, but I'm not
Kama
from there.
Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra.
Not the Kama Kuchi, right?
I don't know what the Kamakuchi is, but I know what a comma is in the verbalage. Not verbalage, but to separate a word or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all that stuff happened, and when I was first moving down here, I didn't have a job, and me and my girlfriend at the time, that was my first. I'd never actually worked there, but I was just there, and I asked for a job right off the bat, and I got the job.
Yeah. Wait. What was your girlfriend doing in there?
We were looking for Halloween costumes because they also sell Halloween costumes. Also,
Yes, they do. They sell cruise wear, bathing suits, and all that stuff.
that's right.
So, yep, yep.
And DVDs and uh, you know, all kinds of things, boas, tutus, um, all kinds of things that are that lots of other stores would have, like any other party store.
Oh, really? Like glitter,
There's lots
balloons,
of glitter,
balloons,
balloons, fake eyelashes, you
mustaches.
know,
Oh, I think they did have
uh,
mustaches. They had like a thing of mustaches. Yeah, yeah. That'd be interesting. So we're gonna find out. I'm gonna call the gentleman this afternoon, and we'll talk about that. And hopefully we'll figure out how to do this show and make it right for the podcast. And it's going to fine line on whether, I mean, if we do this right, then we definitely can do a show at a strip club. A
and
gen- I think they
that
like to call it
is
a,
what I would love
they
to
like to
do.
call it a gentleman's club.
I would love to do that, quite honestly, Jim, and just for the vibe and the articles. Of course,
Yeah,
I
just
love to
like a
read
Playboy
articles.
magazine. I get it. I know what you're saying.
All right.
Hey, listen, I think I can wrangle. I'll be able to wrangle you some couch dances or stuff like that.
I just want to read. I just want to read
Background.
articles and drink my soda water
Yeah,
with
yeah,
lime.
yeah. We're gonna have a couple drinks and stuff like that. Which I can't do any of that stuff. That won't be. I
I
won't
know.
be allowed to do that. But I will be probably allowed to interview people, um, which will be kind of interesting. I look forward to that. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. I don't know. I think the manager. Well, we'll see how that works out. I think we're going to be able to do that. And I did. You weren't there. My next dream thing is to be able to sit in um, the big high heel shoe they use for New Year's Eve. You know what I'm talking about?
Where
Where
I don't know
sushi,
where that is.
sushi. It's in Key West.
Okay.
Instead of having a ball that drops, they have um, a big high heel shoes with a lovely um, I a lovely I have to say I want to use the right terminology. Lovely woman named Sushi who works down there and
Uh huh.
in places down there. So we'll find out. I got to talk to someone at the Bourbon. What's it? 801, 301,
Oh, I
801.
know the place. I actually know the place. It's great. It's a
Is it?
wonderful place,
Is it
and
801?
it's eight. It's 805, but it's right on the corner. It's
805?
cool. I think
805
it's
Bourbon?
called that.
I thought it was 801.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not. I can't remember. It
Okay.
was Fantasy Fest.
No, but
So
that's
there
not
you go.
really. That's neither here nor there. Whether it is one of the places that says bourbon, and
Yes.
which
Yeah.
was once again one of my triggers for when I was drinking. So, but I
Oh,
gotta
that's
get
fine.
just because it's in the name, and I'm sure they got some fine selections of bourbons there. Um,
I'm sure they
I'm
do.
I'm not. I don't operate well on those substances anymore. So we can move on from the adult theme. So if you had um, children locked in the basement, now's the time to bring them up from the basement.
Well,
What?
uh, we move them a lot, give them a little air sometimes. We're not awful people.
Well,
Um,
we're more in the non-urban areas, so we can let our children run free as long as it's not along Route One. Which brings us to our next topic: lazy
I
birds.
segue.
Lazy birds. I don't know if you noticed. You don't ride your. I mean, I don't know if you're much of a bike rider. Uh, since the pandemic, my wife and I have been riding, Abby and I have been riding the bikes around, and we've
Okay.
noticed that there's a lot of bird kill along Route 1.
Oh,
Left,
low flying
left,
birds.
yeah. Well, lazy birds.
Hmm.
Because when, you've done it too when you're driving down the road, and don't you know it, a bird just flies 2 feet across the highway when it could easily, just go up a little, right? I mean,
Yeah, what's the
if
problem
I
anyway?
had the option of not crossing the road at car height, I would always cross above the car and truck height. And this way, whenever I'm not paying attention, I'll never get hit. Right?
Right,
If I
right.
was like, if I had that, just the power of flight, but not invulnerability, but even on invulnerability, you don't want to kill the people, I would fly above. I wouldn't fly just a foot over the ground, you know,
Maybe
what
they're crazy
fucking
birds, man.
birds do, and they get hit right there. It's like they're, I mean, playing stupid chicken, which
Right.
is,
But chickens can't fly.
yeah, I know. But they mess around
You
with the
know.
cars. Playing chicken means
Uh,
you're flying in front of one. They start flying. You're heading up. A bird starts 2 feet right at headlight level. So you get
right.
boom, 45 miles an hour. Smacks that bird. That bird's done. And they're right
You,
on the
you,
edge. It's not. Some of them are in the middle of the road. You see them in the middle of the road. Some of them die in the median strips. But there's so many right on the edges. You know, like they they're deciding. They say, "Hey, there's a car coming," and they start flying. I mean,
well, I mean, have you ever played
snakes,
chicken with a
snakes,
train before?
snakes, raccoons, possums, cats. They have no choice but to stay on the ground, right?
Right.
Unless some bird
Yeah.
decides to pick them up and fly them across. I mean, you don't see as many even squirrels. Squirrels do have the option of going across the road a lot of times. They have the option of running on the wire.
Correct. They do.
Yeah,
With
so
with full nuts in mouth as
yep,
well.
they do that all the time.
Just
They
ready
always
to.
have
Yeah.
a fucking nut in their
Yeah.
mouth when they're running down the wire.
Good
And
stuff.
then if they get near when there's crazy mockingbirds and stuff, this is what you do when you're not going into work. You stare at the birds and stuff like that. So whenever a squirrel, what's the squirrel going to do? Squirrel's not going to. I mean, I don't think squirrels eat nuts and stuff. They're not carnivorous. They eat nuts and that's pretty much it. They don't eat meat. Do they eat eggs?
Well,
But they go
you
near the
know what?
mockingbirds go crazy. They go after those squirrels like crazy.
I don't remember seeing a squirrel going after an egg. I'm pretty sure they're never people. I
What?
mean, have you ever had an egg that you left out too long, and they're taking those nuts to go hibernate. They don't want to hibernate probably with a old rotten egg, right?
Yeah, well, they're not. They
I
don't
don't
mess
know.
around. I don't think they eat eggs and stuff like that. So I don't know why
Okay.
the mockingbirds should they attack the other thing. Just like if um, I don't know how you even describe it. If if you were worried, I mean, if you're a mockingbird, why do you evolve to chase a squirrel? You should be chasing a crow, right? I mean, crows are more likely to eat, or one of those hawks will come down and take your kids, boom, come down here and stuff like
Oh yeah.
that. But that be like a person, they have home defense, one of these people that have the AK-47, right, for home defense,
Yeah,
and
you're on
they
my
and they
property.
see a pigeon on their property and they go, we shoot it, and they go, well, I didn't know what that pigeon was going to do. That pigeon could have came broke into my house.
Yeah,
Yep.
it could have completely just taken your flat screen TV.
Speaking of that,
You don't
though,
know.
if you're going to protest, the shutdown order, the stay-at-home order, what better thing to bring with you to a protest than would be a automatic weapon, or a kit automatic weapon like AK-47 or an M16 or some kind of automatic rifle. I saw in North Carolina these people really know how to dress. When they're going into a McDonald's in a fast food place, and the guy has a rocket launcher tied to his back. A rocket launcher.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and another one,
Another
one
was there a rocket in
carrying
it?
a replica of a 50 caliber machine gun. And a 50 caliber machine gun is a heavy infantry weapon.
Yes.
It can pierce light armor. And I'm hoping it's a replica. Why would you be walking around with one of those? It's not one of those things you could really fire offhand without. You have to set it up on a tripod. Imagine if you were getting robbed.
Quicker.
Yeah, and you were getting robbed, and you said, "Well, this is for home defense." And I got what do you got? A rocket launcher, a grenade, and a mortar tube, so you can lob mortars.
Sure.
And you go, "Well, what are you going to do with the grenade?" Well, if the guy breaks in my house, I'm going to throw a grenade at him. Well, that'll kill your whole family. He says, "Well, sometimes the price has to be paid." A bazooka, nothing like having a bazooka in your house.
Just chilling.
You might, someone could rob your car, right?
Right.
Someone's trying to steal the medallion off your Mercedes.
If I can't have it, no one will.
Yeah, I'm gonna launch a rocket at that car.
Right.
Or yes,
my call.
And if you're being
if
robbed, if you get robbed at knife point, what better way of resisting than to stop the person when they're robbing you at knife point or gunpoint and say, "Excuse me one moment, I have to set up my tripod and my 50 caliber machine gun," which could take about it takes about 3-4 minutes, but if you get someone that's reasonable about it, because you're going to be protesting, so you're going to have to protect yourself too, right?
Right. Well,
you can't just have a handgun. You can't just have a handgun.
No. You have to totally destroy everything. That's the thing. That's what you have to do. And for me, that is no debate on that. You have to destroy everything.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny that we're not going to this. Maybe you have another way you're going. But there was a girl, and we were coming home from a club with her boyfriend, and then they're in the front seat, and I'm in the back seat, and he didn't understand why we were dancing so close. So he pulled over and told me to get out. And I was like, "No, you're not going to drop me off on the side of the road." So he's like, "Fine, I'm going to go in my trunk and get my guns." And he was still sitting in the car waiting for me to get out. And so, okay, well, first of all, you shouldn't have told me that you're going to go in your trunk, get your guns. I can guarantee you I'll be by your trunk before.
Yeah.
See, so pre-sourcing your intent of hey, I'm going to go get my gun, or set up your 50 cal thing is probably not good, because you're not going to make it. You can be nice about it all you want. Hey, let me get my bazooka. Hey,
yeah,
I have to get the missile out of the other case though first.
Yep.
And then set it up and do all that kind of stuff. So, word to the wise people: if you're going to do that, I guess don't tell them first.
Just shoot them.
Or carry a smaller arm.
It's like one of those crazy like California or something like that, or Dust to Dawn, where it was George Clooney and stuff like that, where people say they just turn around and just shoot you. Hey,
right.
I didn't like the way you were talking to my old lady.
Right.
And then
the old West.
Go like this. I was going to have a discussion with you, but I'm not going to have a discussion. I'm just going to shoot you. I mean,
right.
What?
Exactly.
What are you going to the dream of someone walking to a protest where there's 20 people with automatic weapons, or they are normally automatic weapons. Now they could be semi-automatic. What do they think is going to happen? Do they think it's well, in North Carolina, it's against the law to open carry at a demonstration or protest.
Okay.
And that's where they were taking their weapons, to a demonstration or a protest. And what are you hoping? What are you expecting to happen? Because, I mean, if you show up at a protest, if you protest, it's not like the police are going to show up with snipers, right? It's not like a black. I mean, you're confusing that. You're confusing your resistance to a stay-at-home order to a Black Lives Matter rally, because they definitely would show up with armed people to a Black Lives Matter rally, right?
Oh yeah, they probably would.
Oh yeah, yeah, but not there. So, but now you have it. They don't even come. Well, the Black Lives Matter rally, they'll just come with their sidearms, right?
Right.
The police. Now you bring in your semi-automatics, and now the police, if the police are going to show up, they're going to take their automatic weapons. Because if you're a police officer, why would you purposely put yourself in a situation where you're undergunned, right?
Well, they used to do that all the time, and they had bigger rallies than what they have now.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. They weren't allowed. You were always overgunned because they had the big one with the 50, the Tommy gun.
Yeah.
All of them had that, but the gangsters, meaning, or whoever could get one, and then you had a little pea shooter, a little 6-shooter, and you had to reload after 6, and they got 50, and that's just one guy.
Yep.
So,
no, but what do you expect to happen when you go to Walmart? If you go to Walmart, you're walking down through Walmart with your AK-47.
Right.
What do you expect? What are you expecting to happen? Or with your hunting rifle? First of all, if someone has a handgun and you got your long rifle and you run into someone with a handgun, you're the first person. I mean, if I was robbing a place and I wasn't going to shoot anybody, but there's someone comes walking in with a gun, you're the first person I shoot. There's never been one of these open carry guys that stopped any armed robberies yet. Now there's guys that have been concealed weapon and had sidearms that have stopped. Yes, I'll give that to them. But you never hear about it. If there was an open carry guy that did it, that would be the biggest story. They'd post it all over the internet. It would be their Jesus comes back from the dead story, 2020. Be crazy. Be crazy. So, but I mean, they are getting bigger with the bigger weapons, the rocket launcher, the 50 caliber machine gun. So there's very little more. They really can't go much bigger than that. You got guys. Every so often a guy steals a tank and goes crazy, right? Like a tank, like an M1 Abrams tank. Yeah, and they'll go driving through town. There was a couple years ago, there was a guy that built his own armored bulldozer, and he just went ape shit in town. And he just armor plated it, drove it around, was destroying the buildings and stuff like that. I think he may have lived. I'm not sure. Oh. Yeah, he just used it. He wasn't shooting anybody. He was just destroying properties. The tax one.
Okay, so just straight up anarchy.
Yep.
Well, that wasn't cool.
Good shit. Yeah. Just you could have done with a tank. But eventually, there'll be someone that steals a fighter plane. That'll be a good one. Fighter plane or a helicopter, maybe.
Well, you can just do that with the drones right now.
Oh, you're right. Armed drones. Well, My
Yeah,
buddy
I can
Tommy in
buy a drone right
Philadelphia
now and look for
had
Chinette.
a replica Panzer tank, 1/6 scale or something like that. It was
Hmm.
about 5 feet. It was metal. It was all metal, heavy metal, a Panzer tank, and it fired a 22 caliber shell. Just a gun, a regular small bullet, but it fired a
Right,
bullet.
right.
Yeah, fired a
All right.
bullet, which
You didn't want to go with the Sherman at
I
all,
don't
or
know
no?
why you you need to fire 22 if you're building a replica tank and you get a small caliber gun in it because it's kind of underthinking. You might as well just because someone could have a 38 in their hand, right?
Right.
And say, "Oh, you're 22
Oh,
and you got this inaccurate." This was the back in 2000. Oh, he was doing it in late 90s, 2000. It was huge. It was hundreds of pounds heavy. His tank. He had his tank. He may have ran it
mm,
twice. But it's people with their toys and stuff like that. I had a friend,
right.
a friend
I
who
don't
had
know
it.
if you remember the. Go ahead.
What? He had a Uzi. A guy with an Uzi. That was a machine pistol. They're fucking crazy.
No, it's not very accurate. I don't know if you ever watched MythBusters. It's not very accurate. It's just like for a bunch of spray.
Oh, it's
But
great.
you
Like if
know,
you're stuck close in and stuff like that. Yeah.
right. If you're stuck close in and you can hide under this thing, I get it. Yeah, sure. But uh,
Yeah.
but there was a show also called uh, it was what was it called? It was about robot wars basically. But it was these guys they remote control robot
I remember that
uh,
show.
tanks.
They have the cage
But it was called
matches where
Robot Wars.
they bring in the robots, little remote control things, and they go at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'd have special things. Like one guy thought like a spike on the top of it that went like down at like I don't know how many pounds per second, pounds per inch it was, but it was pretty freaking hard. And there was another guy. He had a different strategy where he would just he had like a little ramp on his, and he would just flip another guy over. So it was a whole bunch of strategy in that.
I remember that one. We just used a
It was
ramp.
great.
Yeah, when they flipped them over, they were done.
Right, and they might have had another like little thing that like just kind of like screwed off the tires or something. I don't know how I remember how it worked, but it was a show,
Yeah.
and it should be still a show.
Well,
But
we're,
people are
we're
making
we're
people
not
are
that
making
far off.
weapons.
Someone's gonna improvise a Roomba, get a Roomba or a drone. A drone's not that
I don't
hard.
know.
A drone, they can pick up a couple pounds now. Get a drone to drop a piece of explosive on someone, right?
They do that, but
Yeah.
not the drones you can buy at Walmart probably. But I'm sure you can soup it up.
I mean, well, how much can they carry? They can carry one. Those drones can carry at least a pound, right?
Well, you can get stuff from Amazon from there. So supposedly,
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know how that's going to work really, but I mean that's the goal. If somebody wants to talk a sack full of Taco Bell, supposedly they can go and get it, and they deliver it to your house on a drone that you can get from Walmart. I don't know how that really is going to work unless the batteries are really that great, because you're going to have to do another sack full to some guy smoking weed at the frat house
wow, it's pretty amazing.
or at Sorority Row.
Because they were supposed to be doing that already, the drone deliveries. They didn't happen yet.
Right.
So,
Not here. That's why living here is so different. You're missing out if everything is actually really happening, or it gets to us a little bit late. We're obviously we're a little slower town, and that's what I like about it. But getting involved with tech is not really down here.
yeah. No, they're
From what I understand.
yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to the day. Well, I don't see drone deliveries happening for a while. They keep on talking about it, and just Think about how people have a hard time knocking on doors already and stuff and delivering to the wrong place. How many
Right.
fucking times? Imagine that. The
Right. Exactly.
guy that can see you have the numbers on your house, and the person delivers to the wrong house.
Right. Or there might be a number missing. There's also
No,
when the drones are starting to
mine
get
has a number, and
big.
I've always a lot of times 30% of the time we were getting the wrong delivery. I don't know if they're scooping up a bunch at the same time, but I see that being a problem with the drone. And who's going
Right.
to argue with the drone when you get a bad? They don't give a shit about. It's like the Terminator. They don't give a shit about a bad review. How sad is a
Right.
drone going to be? You only get
I
you
don't know.
talking to the drone. You have a meeting and say, you only got like 25% of your deliveries correct, and the drone doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much
Drone
like a
doesn't care.
17-year-old
You're not tripping them anyway.
17-year-old boy right now. I don't give a shit. That's the
All right.
drone. So
Well, the people are really scared of drones. When I was starting to get into what drones are about, once again, I was still living here. I'm still living here, and uh, I thought that they were going to be awesome, but people are really upset that if you invade their privacy, and these are toys and they're allowed normally, and people get really really pissed off if you're just playing in the street. And there's a segment on YouTube. It's funny actually how pissed people get when a drone scoots by their house. What are you doing? What are you looking at? And like, there's this one drone that went up to this one guy's house, and the dude literally came out with a shotgun and just blew the shit out of the drone. And he didn't say a word. He just opened up the screen door and just like, pow. That was it.
of course that's what he
You
should
know?
do.
And that's exactly what he did. There was another dude. He was sitting outside. He opened up his screen door. And apparently, it's always happens with screen doors. Or someone sitting in their lawn, and he had his shirt off, and he just kind of like he kind of like whipped the drone with his shirt. He's like, "What are you doing over here, boys?" And like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not even on your property. You came
Yeah.
outside to hit our couple $100 drone with your shirt, thinking we're invading your privacy, and it's like, we're going to sue you. And there's a whole bunch of them like that. You check it out. It's funny.
I like it. Well, drone. You know what? If you bring a drone on my property, you are invading my property. What are you doing there? I mean, there's some people that think, but they're taking pictures. They're peeping toms. They go outside people's windows and stuff like that.
Well, that's
You know,
different.
it's perfect.
But you don't own air, so they can go.
They can
they
go,
can
but if they're
land.
invading your property, if they're taking a picture of you're hanging outside their window, there's a case could be made that they're, taking a picture.
Well,
I'm not saying
that's
going
part
over
of
your
the
house.
YouTube
I
thing.
don't say going over your house. I'm just saying, hanging out, the camera's pointed to your front door.
They don't know where that camera's pointing. It could be just a couple of little kids playing with a drone, learning how it works. And now the drones are using it. What I found out, which is more, it's supposed to be really lucrative, is to do home photos for people that don't want to, like an aerial view, see how
Yeah.
the roof of the house is for realtors.
Uh-huh.
Because most people regularly a realtor doesn't jump on the roof to take a picture. They use drones and take a drone video of inside a nice big house in Atlanta or whatever, and they send that and put that on their thing. But
I think the argument can be made that you do own the air over like 20 feet over your property.
I don't know.
I think, I don't think like you can own the space, but people do that. Like you can't fly over over places, but I think you can say you can restrict airspace over. So I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't change pretty soon.
Well, you can't fly it in a restricted airspace like near an airport.
No, I'm
Because,
talking
A,
about
it'll
like
get
someone's
messed up.
outside someone's window and stuff. They're just going to say, "Hey, listen, you can't do that." That's the same as peeping toms, son. There's laws against looking through people's windows.
Yeah, but you're on property. But unless you're talking about like a telescope or binoculars from across the
Yeah,
canal,
there's
I don't
laws
know.
against
I
that
don't know
too.
what that is at all. Is that a peeping tom too? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's surveillance. There's laws against surveillance. Um, so I mean, I had a binocular. I used to stare at my neighbors when I was in high school, and the girl was a ballerina, and she dressed. She was in college.
Sure,
I would look.
sure.
Yeah. Geez.
Keep going.
I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble. I didn't see anything. I didn't see
What was
anything.
there?
I never
What
got the
color was her
opportunity.
hair then?
She was blonde.
Okay,
Blonde.
of course she's gone. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And she wore like pink leotards and stuff like that. Bodysuit, stuff like that. So.
Leg warmers, yes. Leg warmers.
No, I don't know if they had those. She had those. It wasn't leg warmers or that's. Yeah, that was what was that? Come on, what's that
Oh,
movie?
it's '80s, I guess. I don't know.
That was the '80s.
Oh, Flashdance.
Jessica Biel.
Flashdance.
Flashdance.
Yeah.
Flashdance. Or the or
You know,
the or the porn
guys, guys
the
wear those
porn
too.
the porn
Guys wear those
knockoff
too.
Flashdance. What?
I'm saying guys wear those too. They need their legs warm also.
Who was it? You know who did? The guy in Revenge of the Nerds, the black dude,
Lamar.
LeVar, or leg
Oh
warmers.
yeah, Lamar. It was Lamar, I believe.
Lamar,
Yeah.
with his patented
Yeah.
limp-wristed javelin throw that he won
Yes.
the javelin throw
He won that.
competition in the Greek week.
What
Okay.
a great movie.
What a horrible way. The
Yes.
only black, well, the only major black character in it was they made him gay,
Yeah.
except for the guy from the national fraternity from the Tri Lambs.
Oh well, yeah. How many screen moments did they really have? They were just scared of him. That's all. And
Yeah, yep. They brought in
Yeah.
a bigger. They brought
but
in a bigger
but
group
they
of
didn't have a
Tri-Lambs.
lot of. There are other tri-lines, but I know what you mean, and also in back in that time we weren't around apparently.
Yep.
So like it's funny that I remember that I used to watch Dukes of Hazzard all the time through syndication, and
Lee, how old are you?
there weren't any. It was in syndication. You can watch them right
How
now.
old are you?
I'm 36 now. I'll be 36 in August.
Okay, that was my guess. Okay, Dukes of Hazzard. Okay, God, was I in college when that was out? I've never seen an
Well,
episode.
there's a movie that came out not too long ago, but probably
I've never seen a whole episode of Dukes of Hazzard.
it was funny because
I knew who Boss
Grew up
Hogg
poor,
was.
we didn't
and
really
all that
have
stuff.
yeah, Boss Hogg, Roscoe, Pico Train, and obviously Daisy Duke. That's when Daisy Dukes. They wrote all the '90s was girls, but was like rappers, and people wanted to go back to Daisy Dukes because they went out of style in the '80s, a little bit, and then why did these go out of style? Because they look awesome. So
Barbara
there was a song called "Look at the Girl with the Daisy Duke song."
Okay, well,
I'm sorry.
yeah, that came out when I got out of high school because I wasn't watching the Dukes of Hazzard then. And
But they only.
But
the,
you were
the
you
point
were a
of the thing
kid.
was. Well, besides, they had icons there, man. Like Uncle Jesse and Boss Hogg, of course, and Roscoe and Bone Luke Duke and the Rebel flag, which was on the top of a Charger. I believe it was a Charger, Dodge Charger, and Bill
Yeah.
Cosby was the one who said he didn't like that show because it had the Rebel flag on the top.
yeah,
And they were from Georgia, and there were no people of color in the show, unless because the Duke boys were, they're outlaws, right?
yeah,
And and they had to always run away from Boss Hog and Roscoe and Enos and those guys. I don't know how I remember their names, quite honestly, but they would always have to get out of Hazard County and go to the next county, and the next county guy was a black guy.
Yeah.
And he was big, and he was always just standing there at the county line, and Roscoe and Enos and Boss Hog would be, oh, no, can't go over there. But the Duke boys were cool with the black sheriff over there. So but
he should have removed that Confederate flag out of respect.
Well, but he was allowed, though. The Duke boys were allowed to because they were cool.
Yeah.
They were allowed to go to the next county.
Yeah.
And there's only two real scenes that I remember, and it was like one of them. Somebody was chasing the Duke boys, and anyway.
As much as I'd like to continue this, the best part of that was probably with Waylon Jennings did the narration. What did the Duke boys get themselves into again?
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
I could do with I could say if the Duke boys were two of the knuckleheads in open carry states. He goes, well, Roscoe's running around with an AK-47, and Rufus has a rocket launcher. So what are these boys are getting themselves into? That'll be the next thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, stupid Dukes of Hazzard. Yep.
And that makes sense. I mean, they didn't use guns, but they had lots of bow and arrows.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Like lots of them.
Yeah, they would have had shitload of guns. They would have shitloads of guns. Yeah.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
What did they do for a living?
They didn't do anything. Daisy worked at the place, at the Boar's Nest. Shit, how's this all coming out? It's really just like kind of blurring out. I don't remember most of the stuff. Is the Boar's
They weren't
Nest.
bootleggers or anything like that?
Oh, they might have been bootleggers.
Okay.
They might have been bootleggers. Okay. Well, I don't think they really focused on that. I think they were just, okay. They might have been bootleggers.
Okay. They had to make money doing something.
Well,
it'd be funny if they were...
To get that sweet car.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't personally think that having race car doors when you have to get out of a car real quick is not probably the best way to do it in case you got to run or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they should have been totaling their car every episode.
Kind of guy.
Hey, listen, we're up on one hour. We're gonna lose. Ears are gonna start bleeding.
Oh, I'm sorry, people in
Ketchikan, Alaska.
What's the town we don't?
No, we're not talking about that town.
That. I'm talking about old people now. Okay.
We don't talk about that Dutch town anymore. They didn't return the favor. They didn't see. There was no extra shows they saw. They didn't spread the love. We couldn't get someone from it. So next one's Ketchikan, Alaska, and maybe Tijuana, Mexico. I'm going to find another town. I bet Tijuana, Mexico gets a lot of interest because I mentioned.
Yeah.
The next time you're going to find out what a donkey show is next, okay?
All right. I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Lee. And thank you, folks, for listening. We're going to be signing off right now. Say goodbye, Lee.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.
Yeehaw!
Oh, wait. I'm playing the music now. There you go. You hear it? Yeah.
No, not really. But it's okay.
It's playing. I'm turning it down.